Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Sold Sign Real Estate Unplugged. We are your favorite hosts and realtors, Lauren
and Naya.
and we are so happy you're back with us for another episode. Let's get into this week's story.
All right, so this story was submitted by a lender. As a lender, I've seen all kinds of situations, but one story stands out that really highlights how things can go sideways after the sold sign goes up. I was working with a couple who were buying their first home. They were both excited. Everything was lining up perfectly. They had been pre-approved for a mortgage. They found a beautiful home, and we were just a few weeks away from closing. Everything seemed smooth. They were responsible, had great credit, and solid jobs. One day, about a week before closing, I got a call from the husband. He sounded upbeat and said, "Hey, I have great news. I got a new job with a better salary. Isn't that awesome?" I congratulated him, but then I had to ask him the important question. Did you already start the new job? He hesitated and said, "Yeah, I started a few days ago." That's when I knew we had a problem. You see, when you're in the final stages of getting a mortgage, your financial situation needs to stay stable until after closing. Changing jobs, especially without letting us know, can be a big red flag. Even though he was earning more money, lenders needed time to verify his new employment and income. We can't just assume the new job will work out right away. I had to explain everything to the husband, and that because he switched jobs in the middle of the process, we had to pause everything to verify his new employment. That meant pushing back the closing date. This threw off their plans to move in on time, and on top of that, we had to make sure his new salary was fully documented and stable before we could approve the loan. The couple was stressed. They had already given notice to their landlord, had movers scheduled, were packed up and ready to go. But now, because of the job change, everything was delayed. They didn't lose the house, but it was a close call. It added a lot of extra paperwork, and they had to find a temporary place to stay while we sorted things out. In the end, everything worked out, but it was a tough lesson for them. The excitement of a new job combined with the home buying process can make you forget how carefully things need to be timed.
We be telling them.
Yeah.
We be trying to tell them.
I just be like, please don't do nothing. Sit on your hands.
Don't do anything. Don't buy furniture. Anything. Don't buy a car. Like, seriously, just for 30 days. We need you to just sit down for 30 days. After, like, the minute after y'all leave closing, go do it, whatever. We don't care. Do whatever you need to do. But please, just for 30 days, if you can just not do anything.
Yeah.
That would just be great for everybody, for all parties involved.
And again, we go back to the number one thing, communication.
I already knew it was coming.
Communication. Had the lender, known that he was, at this point, you were going on interviews.
Yeah,
what? Interviews for the whole, while you were getting pre-approved, you were also interviewing. Like,
you didn't just get this new job out of nowhere.
It didn't just fall into your lap. But, so yeah, just communicate.
Please.
That's always going to be the best thing, so that you know, like, your parameters, what you need to pause, what you are okay to do. Just communicate so that everybody is on the same page, and if you're moving too fast, or if you just need to pause, because this couple, they had to find a temporary place. They had to put the whole thing on hold, and luckily they didn't lose the house, because sometimes you don't know what the person selling the house that you're buying had going on. So apparently, they probably were okay and had the wiggle room, but if they were selling their house to go buy another house, and they needed you to buy this one and close that deal, now you've delayed them from their next home and that deal and the funds they need for that.
It's such a ripple effect.
So it's a ripple effect. Just communicate from the beginning, because the lender might have said, okay, cool, but I need XYZ, or okay, I'm sorry, but you gonna have to pause one or the other.
Yeah.
But you would know that
Right.
So like you would know that before you went under contract for this home. So
yeah. And if you're communicating, like communicate honestly.
Yeah.
But like if you listen, we need y'all to be uncomfortable or get comfortable being uncomfortable in this process. So if you're not used to like spitting out the truth and telling people your business, the one person I need you to do that with is your lender.
Yeah.
I don't care if you do it with us as your realtors. If you tell me you like a house and then you end up not liking it, cool. We can go out and see something else. But your lender is the one who approves you for everything. We can't do our job unless the lender does it. And the lender neither one of us can do our job if you're not telling them the truth about what you have going on. So if you're like, oh, nah, like I'm going to hide this money, I'm going to put this. No, stop. Don't do that because they're going to catch it. If the loan officer doesn't catch it, the processor going to catch it. The processor don't catch it, you better believe 100% the underwriter is going to catch it. And the underwriter is going to stop everything, like everything. So communicate honestly and just be open with your lender. It's just you and the lender. Like just let them know, hey, listen, this is what I have going on. Is this okay? Just ask the questions. It's better to ask up front than to be like, oh, I'm so sorry later.
Yeah.
Like just, because then you ain't gonna have a house. You gonna have a car, but you ain't gonna have a house because you done
you
have a job.
But you ain't got no house. You got a new job,
but you have no house. Like, come on. So you gotta think what's most important. Y'all don't know what y'all don't know. That's why we're here to tell you these things. And even though we'll tell you like the first consultation, you may forget, and we will tell you again. Your lender is going to reiterate, and they're going to keep telling you. And sometimes y'all still be going out like, oh, can I put my furniture on credit card, or can I change jobs? No, we're going to tell y'all no every time.
We need to be focused for 30 days.
Yeah, on one thing.
That's
the goal. And once we get there, you can go do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You don't even need our permission at that point, you know?
Yeah. And so he got a new job. It was more pay. So he's like, oh, bet. Like, this is great.
I'm good.
Like, I'm good. This is even better. But
so it's like, why would that be a problem?
Yeah, I can see why you're like, well, I just did something great.
Right.
And I'm bringing in more money, so, whatever. But the stability, that is going to be, the number one thing for a lender. They have to verify it and make sure that the money is coming in. And if it's a new job, is quote unquote unstable, right? Because it doesn't have that longevity, that 2-year history that you've been there. So again, just communicate that you're even... hey, I got a few interviews going on. What would happen if I wanted to accept a job offer? How would that impact this process? That's it. That's all. Before, you don't have to come and, say, I already got a job. Well, hopefully you do it so that you don't have to say I already got the job. But like, just be like, these are the things I'm thinking about. What would happen if? What does that look like? Do I have room to do this? Do I not have room to do that? So...
and it's a big difference going from a W-2 job, salary job, to a 1099. So if you're like, oh my God, like, yes, I was just at a W-2. I know what I'm getting paid every 2 weeks. And then you go and you get a 1099 job where it is commission based or whatever. And you are going to be making a lot more money. But 1 month you could not make as much money. So it's not really stable as your other W-2 job. Yeah. So I wanted to.
All those things.
Oh, and it also like. Sorry.
No.
Programs. What if the amount of money that you were using, like you and your wife, right? Like y'all there when you are applying for a mortgage and your lender looks at all of your stuff to see what you qualify for, you could qualify for programs like down payment assistance programs, but there's a cap of how much you can make. So if you are and your wife are making, $150,000 and the cap is $160 in order to qualify for that program to get your down payment assistance, and now you making a lot more money and you're like at $180, $185, now that takes you out of the getting the program, getting the funds from the state. Now you can't even qualify. So now you got to now go back and bring all that money to the table because you have capped out with your salary.
But you got a new job, but now you don't got no program. So
now you got to use that extra money from your new job to now pay all of the down payment instead of getting the assistance from the state that you would have gotten.
Exactly. So this is why you should just communicate, because again, you want to be able to use the resources. Like, great, new job, new salary. You don't want to, still stretch yourself or miss out on money that, was free or, a loan maybe. Right. But you don't want to miss out on the resources available to you because you didn't communicate. Right. So just communicate. And just be patient. I think so. Be patient for the 30-day process.
Oh, God,
you know, when you're under contract. Be patient just as far as your timeline and your vision in general. So like if you are really contemplating interviewing and accepting a new job, because like that, maybe that really is important for you at this time. So really just balancing, being honest, and then patient with whichever decision you make. So, okay, if really getting that new job is what you want most right now, that's totally fine. But be okay with then maybe having to be patient a little bit longer for jumping back in the home process or the house. So just, you know.
And if the job wants you bad enough, I mean, you asking them, hey, can my start date be in 15 days or in 30 days? Can I please start? I'm in the middle of a house process. If that job wants you bad enough, they'll give you the 15 days.
Yeah.
You know, they know already, I'm sure, that you got to put in 2 weeks for your current job. So that's already 14 days right there. Can they give you an additional 14 days because you're going through the house process? And hey, I can take this job, but I need my start date to be this. Again, back to communicating. Just open your mouth and just talk. Just ask the questions so that you at least have the right answers, especially coming from your lender when you're in this buying process.
That's a great point, because I forgot about the start date. It could be as simple as
switching.
Yes, you could take that job, but just switch the start date.
Right,
so that's a great point.
I'm not saying don't take it. We want you to make more money. We don't want you to. No, that's not what we're here for. We just want to make sure you get both the house and the job.
The house and the job.
That's all we want. So
I think the big moral of the story here, as it often is communicate.
Yeah.
We want you all to be able to reach all your goals career-wise, home buying-wise, but be sure that you're communicating with all parties so that you know what your parameters are, what you can and can't do during the process, just so that you can navigate and everybody can best support you with that. So
yes, and we're definitely all on the same page. Yes. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for coming back for another week. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, comment, share. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and every single podcast platform. You pick your favorite, you'll find us. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week. Bye.